Real Estate Guru TV, your personal real estate resource. Now, your host, Sean T. Shallis, your personal real estate guru.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Real Estate Guru TV. And today's segment, we're going to talk about risk and reward when buying and selling real estate. We were just working with somebody and they said to us, hey Sean, we're considering either renting or buying. We're really not sure which way we're going to go with this. So we talked about some of the benefits and some of the challenges with owning a piece of real estate. One of the things we're going to talk about is the appreciation factor, also the financial benefits. What if you're only staying there for a couple of years? The other thing is if you're getting relocated, how are you going to deal with that? It all sounds great, but wait a second. What about the risks involved in buying a piece of real estate as opposed to renting? If I own it, I have to take on a whole lot of risk, right? Well, we're also going to discuss the reality and the fantasy of that, and what it takes to actually, understand. You're still going to have the responsibility of monthly payment, whether you're owning a property or renting a property. We all got to live somewhere, unless we're living under a box somewhere or a rock. Here's something interesting though that we did with somebody is we talked about a 2-bedroom, 2-bath in the area. It's one of our listings that we were talking about. And we went through and we said, hey, if you were renting a property for $2,000 a month, the fee to rent the property is going to be 1.5 times the rent usually. That's $3,000. Then you're going to have to put the first month's rent, which is another $2,000. That comes up to about $5,000. What's interesting is you're going to make that payment from now until whenever you move. Let's say, for argument's sake, that timeline is over 5 years or 3 years. Just at a year, at $2,000 a month, that's $24,000. Let's just say, for argument's sake, you take that tax benefit. When renting, the tax benefit is actually zero. So $24,000 times zero comes up with zero. But there is some equity involved in that property. The challenge is what you're doing is you're paying the equity for somebody else's benefit. And it's going into somebody else's pocket, not yours. So here's another strategy. What if we actually took the same amount of money, the $2,000, and we said we're going to rent the property. Instead of renting the property, we're going to buy it. They said, well, wait a minute. I'm not really sure I'm ready for that. How can I do that? Well, with the FHA, you can actually get a property with 3.5% down still to this day. What's interesting is we can actually ask the seller to roll in the closing costs into the price of the property. So basically you can finance both the property and your closing costs, so all you'll have to come out of your pocket with is about the 3.5% to put down, providing that your credit is good and that you can actually qualify. Now what's interesting is doing that, you're going to come out with about $8,750 a month, $8,750 out of your pocket. Obviously slightly more than the $5,000 you have to do to rent it, but in this case you're going to own it. When you run that number at 5%, that actual multiple is about 5.3% per month is what the actual, what it actually converts to. The actual monthly payment ends up being $1,295 per month. And you say, well, wait a second, Sean, I have costs that I have to involve too when I own a place. Yes, if you're buying a condo, let's say, for argument's sake, in this case we were, there's actually about a $200 a month maintenance fee that goes along with owning a property that has to pay for the, the insurance and stuff like that, the doorman if there is one, maybe the upkeep of the actual community itself that the property is in. You also have the taxes. The property taxes, which people look at, oh my God, I have to pay property taxes. They're $3,000 to $4,000. That's both good and bad, and I'll explain why in a second. So let's say we take all these numbers, we roll them all together. We still end up less than the $2,000 it was costing us to rent at $1,795. What's interesting though, it gets better than that. Remember we were talking about the taxes and the maintenance? If we take out $300 for the maintenance, okay, and now understand, maintenance is not tax deductible, but the interest on a loan and the money you pay toward your taxes is tax deductible. So we're going to assume you're not living on food stamps and you can afford to buy this home, you're probably going to be at the top of the tax bracket, which is a 38% tax bracket. If we take that tax bracket and we multiply the 38%, we take out the maintenance because we can't deduct the money spent on maintenance, so we end up with a net of about $14.95. We multiply that by 38%. We get $682 a month back in our pocket from Uncle Sam at the end of the year just for being a property owner in the United States. He's supporting you to buy a home. That's why people say, be a part of America, buy a home, home ownership, have pride in your home ownership. Pride is great, but cash is king. Okay? Let's take all this, right, and it all looks good on paper. Let's wrap it up and let's really see what it means to you. What's the net to our consumer, the person who was going to rent that place, right? So in this case, that same consumer that was going to buy that place, he was going to rent it, he invested $87.50 in order to buy that home, become a homeowner. By being a homeowner, his actual monthly payment out of pocket is about $1,800, $1,795. What's more important, his post-tax cost to live there was $1,113 a month. That's substantially less than renting for the $2,000 a month and paying somebody else's equity and putting the money in your own pocket. It gets better than that though. At the end of the year, Uncle Sam's going to write you a check. Remember what we said? 38% tax benefit for owning a property? He's going to give you back about $8,000 a year. Now, understand, these guys wanted to buy a house for $250,000. They probably made about $100,000 collectively. That's almost a 6 or 7% increase in their monthly, the 6 or 7% increase in their income. That goes to the bottom line in their pocket. Remember we said cash is king? Listen, if you want to find out more about renting or buying, stay tuned to our next chapter and our next episode on how to buy properties and the risks and rewards in it. We'll look forward to hearing from you. It's a great day and thank you.